Then she screamed with her sword, "Let's go." "What do you mean by having no mercy on my father?" "The cold sword says you do many evil things. No one has mercy on you." He glanced his eyes and said, "I don't want to be the kind of person like you. My hands are dirty." Red Moon heard the silence. Their father and son kept quiet in the rain and wind. The people of the World Bank of Medicine said, "The chief has been defeated. The other families will not forgive us." They panicked about what to do. You push each other to ask. Hurry and pack up and run. So the whole cloud of fire ran away and refused to die. The photographer put his hand on his shoulder. "Good job with the sword. I can't believe you can let go of the sword." The sword's face was filled with tears. Then he raised his face and took a deep breath and thought, "Your parents did it. Later you will live well. 2 people under the golden spring. If you know, please don't forget." The sound of the transmission gave a sigh. I was startled to think of this sound. Think of that crazy old man if you mention that. The sword is not crazy. What does he mean after all? He must be nearby. Vudim reminded the photographer. "Let's get out of here." Surprised, she asked the goddess to continue. "We feel the danger." The photographer agreed and thought, "Stay away from him. I don't want to die this young." I just walked away. If it's solved, go home and don't watch it. Suddenly, the Lord came out and said this. "Pick up the photographer." "Prince." He stopped me and asked, "Remember me?" The photographer nodded in confirmation. "Of course, the constant." "Lord, why do you recognize me?" "Your face is always talking." Li Hang said, "To be honest, I can't be sure. But the prince has an inhuman temperament. It's really like a chicken's milk crane." Hang hands out so that the V shape deliberately covers the face. The sword added. He also brought the black inflammatory sword. Tired photographer said, "You said it was always a black sword." That's why Hang laughed, ha ha ha. He said he was lucky to have the support this time. Otherwise, you'll be in danger of losing your life. Answer the customer, and you should do it. Now, in the cold, I am going to the end. The photographer feels what he thinks. At this time, I invite you, if you don't blame, please come to our goddess house for a trip. Is that okay? The photographer gently refused. It's a pity. We've got urgent business to get out of here. Then I look around. I thought to myself, the dark world has so many human families. The real power of NDTO if it can attract them. Think about it, the photographer said. I'm not actually from the dark world. Li Hang thundered up. He was happy to ask why. How can you take out so many herbs? The photographer told them, if you're interested, out of the dark world, over the next few days, I'll send someone to pick you up. Happy to shout, that's good. If I could really leave the world of darkness, 12 our world will greatly appreciate. Happy to say that. Please allow me to go before the death penalty. Li Hang also honored the ceremony. He also said that the prince walked freely. Then the photographers left. He looked at me and asked me who you were. That's how the story of the underworld ended. Why? In the forest, the trees are constantly moving. The nearby demon chains were also trembling endlessly. The crazy old man before are mentally focused non-stop. He opened his eyes and said, I don't know if you really understood that. To what extent? The photographer is leaving. It feels good. This old man is watching you from a distance. I'm scratching my lips. I think. It's been a few hours. The feeling of being watched is still there. The photographer told us it was coming. Let's hurry up. I thought to myself, stay as far away from the old man as possible. The sword fluttered its wings and asked, "Fast enough, master?" The photographer shouted back too quickly. Some time later, the people have returned to Kwangwi Kai City. Seeing the photographer, Quatrach exclaimed, "I suddenly felt the power of the law into my soul of the sea." Maybe someone promoted the legend. The photographer happily nodded. You explain me with the sword. To our dark world like that. Then like this 6. He was disgruntled and said, you dare to go to the world of darkness. Even beat private, not translate. Why not tell me? I've been practicing here all day and I'm about to die. The photographer glanced and laughed. There's nothing good about the dark world. I will take you to this more exciting place. That's it. 6 exciting adventures ring out somewhere. Catch a new animal. Replies are more stimulating than love. The guards were eager to ask where it was. The devil laughed and said, the area of 9 dead places. I heard the words 9 and 6 in a cold sweat. Say you go alone. But I just finished. He was shot in the ass and scared. Are you still a man? 6 painful adventures hugging the ass. Say AI says that. Just listen to the name without the wall. The photographer also spoke to his friend. Suddenly I'm laughing. Then I turned to look at Deep Tuvan. You think right, Death. From today on, she will be my fiancé. IPZ was embarrassed to turn away and laughed and said, boy, you are so fast. We caught the goddess. 6 adventures continue to poke, even the parents. The snow is in a 6-stroke position. The fisherman looked at me laughing and said nothing. The photographer saw that with his voice. I'm serious. Okay, everybody, get ready. We'll start tomorrow morning. Death bother her. Notify the owner and the owner. Tell them they have free time. Let's take a trip to the dark world. To greet the families of the underworld. IPZ agreed. The photographer turned to say hello and, see you tomorrow, gentlemen. The boys also waved, see you soon. He also left with the sword and the sword. The photographer told us to go home. In heaven and earth today. Moved to a place not far from the capital. There is an academy in the central area of Kwangwi. The young people of heaven and earth are diligently practicing martial arts. Hey, hey, hey. And then one of them looked out the door and yelled, stop fighting. Don't fight anymore. Let's see who it is. Martial arts master rang up the young photographer. The kids heard that. The photographer is back too. Immediately, we all stood up straight and puffed our chests seriously. Even the teacher. The photographer was startled. I told you to keep practicing. It doesn't have to be. The martial arts teacher replied. You are the great hero of the city. Suddenly, there's a non-human jumping in. Call to photographer. He flew down and laughed. But the photographer quickly turned out to be behind. Lucky to dodge. Smiling, he rubbed his sister's head and said, the next dance will be a soft landing. The ground can't stand my VI. Photographer laughing fun hi. The photographer continued, tomorrow CA wants to go out and take risks. Go back once. That's great. I'm so excited to say that. Can I go with you? Smiling, I replied that I was too young. You can't go to such a place. Photographer Feng saddle up. I can be sure, except for me. Xiao Yu is the strongest in the family. You have the power to talk when CA is not here. I need you to stay and protect the world. The photographer quickly happily returned to say yes. Then she told her sister, let's find a family. The captain also agreed. The martial arts teacher saw that. Regent, say goodbye. The kids are talking right now. You guys tell me, how is the VI of the great CA Regent? There was a boy who said, even you, little you, are of the rank of Black Kim. Surely the great photographer CA has entered the legend. The boy still mused. That CA photographer and Ipitsu, Tsu, were engaged. I heard your sister-in-law is very beautiful. She is the first beauty of Kwangwi City. The teacher shouted angrily. A bunch of bad boys didn't even get to the training site. He screamed his whole life. You can reach the same level as the Lord. It's good now. The whole crowd was scared and yelled Oa Oa. The photographer now goes to the Hall of Heaven. My father asked me to drink. I want to go out to practice. Regent confirmed, yes, father. I told my son that I was growing up. I want to fly everywhere. Go out and take care of yourself. Don't worry, father. I'll be back soon. Besides, I'm about to enter the realm of legends. He was startled to say the legend. The woman next to him also raised her eyes. I think it's fun to talk to well. I can't believe our family. It is also capable of producing a martial artist. We will have to celebrate the day so much. Everyone laughed out loud. Ha ha. Hai said, it is based on our knowledge. Maybe there was no way I have any opinion for you. He continued to talk to you. It's certainly one of the most remarkable of our heavenly family. We can't imagine. What level will you achieve later? Before, your family tree has also seen it inside. I'm afraid there's nothing for you to take. He took out an object and said, the thing is, we still have something. It's the heavenly family that we pass on. Only the owners can inherit it. He handed the ring out and said, even the photographer, they don't even know the existence of this thing. He looked at the ring and said, we also have space rings. And of course, it has not just this. Then from the space ring, take the box out. The photographers, the first step is to look at. Take the key and open the cup. The box is opened. There's a bag in the vinegar box. Must be carefully wrapped. The photographer told me it was a duffel bag inside. Uncle Hai said, the old man's treasure. Of course, it must be carefully preserved. The photographer looked at the page taken out. Stand in the picture for a while. I was surprised to open my eyes. That's what you said, and then again. I was surprised to ask you if you knew this. Of course, I may not know. The reason that photography can reproduce is because I don't love reishi letters. Even if it's a photographer from a previous life, there's no way to fully understand. How does it end up with a curriculum? At that time, photography was not. The whole time I didn't love reishi. It is missing 8 pages. This whole book is gone. Like a photographer in a coffin. The emperor did not get a page. You say, I can't believe this is the second page in the family. The first page surprised me. You also have, the photographer replied, is before with the Academy expedition team in ancient Alayan City to detect it. But we also don't understand what's inside. You said we felt the missing pages inside. There's a huge secret. The owner gave me the missing item. The photographer looked at the missing item and glared up. What is this? Listen to me. He asked me if I could see these 2 pieces of paper. Did you find any leads? The two papers are the same book. The opening material is the same. You sweat and you say the text is the same. Two identical sheets of paper. Our ancestors. What's the origin of those relics? Put the paper away. I said go back and do more research. He told the photographer. This is what the ancestors passed down. You must be careful. I laughed and said no. There's no one better qualified to own it than a weasel. Don't worry, father. People keep talking until the sun goes down. Keep going until the moon is up. Inside the room, the photographer now sits happily, eating lunch with family. Members of the whole family gathered to eat hot pot. AI is also happy to talk and laugh happily. The photographer was very pleased to laugh with his eyes wide open. Very quickly, the day of rest has passed. The angel is still holding his sword. Let's get started. According to the photographer, there are also loyal guards, including the sword, the goddess and the 3 guards of the plaza. In front of the 6 adventurers, you are fully present. There's no one left. Speak up, you are finally here. When I saw everyone waiting for me, I was embarrassed. Scratching his head, during this time, we are always busy with the work of the Lord. Long time no home. I feel ashamed of my parents. So this time we're going to have a meal with them. He said too, is really hard for you. The photographer said that's what we should do. Then he looked up at the walls of Quang Hui. There are 2 old men up there. It's IP and IP are watching. I asked the photographer, let's go back to Min City. The Lord has given me a lot of things. I can wait for the owner too. Try them. Have fun talking. Then a loud shout came out. So Team 5 goes straight into the woods. On the walls of Quang Hui, IP cardboard told IP where father, the children have gone into the forest. Yip replied yes. He said they want to win the future of the city. After all, we are all old. I hope those kids are the gods. He was worried about the scum. But the young bird, if it's always hiding under its parents' wings, the future can't fly. Fly in the sky. IP Tong, the story of the city must be given to you. The dark world let me go. And he said, yes, father. A scene of snow-capped mountains. On the snowy mountain, I walked 6 miles and looked around. The sword, feather on your wings seems to be getting less and less. The photographer is right. Probably according to the growth of VI. Black dragon blood in the body. Gradually began to control the blood flow. Then the sword suddenly frowned. You spread your wings out and make 6 flutters. The sword says something is coming. Vudim said our photographer. They came, the photographer confirmed. I think I found us so quickly. Favorite legend. Under the Black Tuin. A blizzard rises. The 6 adventurers saw it immediately. La Min frowns on psychological preparation. In the distance, 2 black shadows are coming. 2 powerful beasts appeared in the way. One is sick, and one is big. The big red animal spoke up. You made us find you hard. Hate people. The poor guy watched the photographers for a while. Then speak up. 2 brothers were looking from the high plateau to here. He said if you don't hide. In that black turtle shell. Next time we can comfortably torture you. He said 15 years ago. Your body. It's only condensed a little like that. Joking would be fun. The photographer's friends screamed in fear. The 4 snowmen and the 6 snowmen held hands and said, "It's scary." Dance near the voice. The angel, the ghost. You came after me. From the ancient war to the Black Quan. I want to destroy my way. You're going to rush to the man. You're like a spark. I can't believe I've been out there for so long. You're not dead yet. Even if you have to use the power of destiny today. I also have to kill you. The dance transmits sound to the people. She called the surprised photographer and asked the goddess. She said quietly that they were the best. But the body affected by the magic will not be destroyed. Their bodies. One is the Sao chain, which means red shark. One who is a demon is a serpent. What level has the VI reached now? I'm not sure either. If you can't fight, we will use the power of destiny to hold them back. You go ahead and fight. I told you to run away quickly. The goddess Lamin was angry. These 2 guys didn't put us in the eye at all. The angel laughed, ha ha ha. What to say? How are you dealing with us? I can feel the gas. The photographer spoke loudly with his sword. You keep that skinny guy. You said the goddess. Let's deal with this giant first. He was ordered to speak to 2 men. You protect the people. My son came up here, and the 2 men obeyed. So, who's into shouting and the sword? You 2 attack the ghost together. The ghost tilts her head to look at the 2. Suddenly, an explosion happened. The snow splashed. The photographer squinted anxiously looking over there. The leaves of heaven bared their teeth. Ra said, "Where are you looking, ugly boy?" He threw a punch and said you wanted to deal with the AI. Let me see your strength. You see, the dance tells you to be careful. She created flames that enveloped the photographer. The angel said the dance. I was afraid of your fire. Unfortunately, now you can only be torn apart by me. He walked through the fire and said, "Go to hell." The photographer also turned his body into a panda lake. The 2 sides face each other. The angel jumped. His hands have 2 columns of water wrapped around them. They're all opening their mouths to you. You see, she used the light guarantee to respond. Raw material. Immediately a terrible explosion struck a sound that echoes. After this shock, the snow and ice rumbled down from the mountains. The 6 of us are up in the snow. La Min's subordinates immediately rushed up. It's a barrier to protect the kids. On the other side, the observer was knocked back. He's skating on the snow and ice. He said angrily, "This is the rule of light and the rule of darkness. Look at you burning so hot." He continued with this human child. There can be 2 types of rules at the same time. The force is in place. He was shocked to say, "We have been practicing since ancient times." They want to steal all the laws of humanity. 100,000 years. They only know the appearance of the law. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth angrily, screaming, "Little devil, you have no tradition. It's about controlling 2 kinds of hateful people." Once again, he screamed to death. He aimed at the photographer. The mood of this guy. The photographer was a little worried to think of a right of the animal's peak. If I meet you, I will surely die. Dodged the blow of the angel. Laughing, I missed it, ha ha. Because the angel's landing was too strong. It's snowing high. The photographer now ran out behind him. At a great distance. Shout out for a good chance. Attack just accumulates power. You just said, you attack the front so I can block its way back. I said, hands up. It's a giant fireball. The photographer also meets here. He said that he would use the power of light. Two power flow. At the same time, it's attacking the sky. Down the hole, looking for the shackles, the cows got up and said, "The damn devil can control gravity." Right now, he looked up and saw two shots coming. The cold weather. He quickly dodged, then hurtled out of the hole. He said it was too slow. He soared up high and aimed straight at the photographer. You see, the photographer frowned and said, "Here we go." He quickly flew in and stomped down on the photographer's spot. Photography and dance are equally fast. Timely dodge. The photographer exclaimed, "This guy is fast." He just said to widen the distance. Don't touch it. The photographer told Vudim that his teammates were nearby. We can. The soul of the law is 10 times stronger. Goddesses don't care. Let's smash it. The enraged angel continued to roar. So two photographers came in, fighting with the police, all but turned into polite. And so the VA collided violently. Little Snow and 6 adventurers are now covered in snow and ice. It can stick out every head. They both looked up at the sky and shut up. One of the plaza guardians praised it too much. 6 is tired, talking obnoxious fighting this level. I can't get my hands on it at all. The 2 plaza guardians talked to each other. The man in the chicken hat said, "This monster has incredible speed. The police officer couldn't hurt him at all." The Kier replied something. It seems to be very anti-dharma. Attack of the Prince Regent. They dare not attack with all their might. This time the photographer hit out a trick. Bold principle light. 2 rays of light Kai in darkness. Kai hit Ra. The angel's been hit. He even said, that's when he threw moisture into the ice. Dance says power is strong. The sky's falling fast under the snow and ice. Go to the dance. His hands came out of the ice. He wants to grab the dance. He confidently said, "Run away. I hate to answer from the ground. You thought I couldn't touch it." So she started chanting. Then he threw his hand at the scout. Are waving their hands. A fireball fell on his head. A loud cry. Then the ball of fire exploded. Make a mountain of snow fly. The angel was knocked down into a deep hole. He gritted his teeth angrily, saying obnoxious ha-ha. A halo of light on this guy's face. The bright light seemed to change. He shouted out to A. Blue light shining everywhere. Make all the photographers stupid. The photographer says this is what it is. I can only see the shape of this telescope. Has morphed into a red shark. He said the air is getting stronger. The devil said no more playing with you. The woman in his hand. The white silk that came out. It quickly came to wrap the body of the dancer. The surprised dancer asked the yarn. Her whole body was bound by these ropes. The dance was quickly controlled. When did you start talking? The scout is confident to say. Over the years, we've lost our fitness. Last time I let you escape. Don't run away from my hand this time. Vudim painfully difficult to say quickly run. The angel confidently said, you are the most now. There is also only 3-star transmission. Not my opponent at all. He clenched his fist and laughed softly. Hands up tied. Can I still give you a body? Ha 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 ha. Dance is painful. The strings tightened on the body of the dancer. She shivered and screamed. The photographer here threw out 2 spheres and said, "This monster eats my magic." The angel raised his hand and said in a cold breath, "No one can throw an airdrop and shout that." He provocatively grabbed the 2 spheres and said, "If not the power of 2, you can't hurt me at all. Where is your magic power? Let me see." The stunned photographer next door threw a snowball. "Why is this your toy?" Ha 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 ha. The photographer also ran out of words to throw the power back. He said there was a request. As soon as I finished speaking, the 2 spheres exploded. A sound that echoes. The monster's arm fell down. Let's take advantage of this opportunity. The dance immediately jumped out. Look at the big hole in front of you. This is the gun you fired last time. The angel crawled up, and he growled, "My hand. My hands are screaming, I must kill you." The photographer was held by the sound of folding, causing the vibrations to shake. "You asked not yet." He's constantly growling. "Take out some more balls and talk about it." I threw out a bullet and said, "I'll give you 6 more." And threw out 6 bullets. I see dangerous bullets coming. The police officer immediately shut up. Here's the Ming with the sword. "The ghost sees you okay." The ghost looked over anxiously. 6 bullets exploded. It's a giant explosion. The angel's body was engulfed in smoke. What's the ghost screaming about? And the scout was thrown out screaming bitterly. I saw a ghost scream out loud. "Law Min slip." He said he had time to worry about others. "The next dead person is you." They both yelled at each other. The angry ghost shouted out loud. And then it starts to transform. The sword and the sword stopped.